Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I will discuss Mulk Raj Anand's story Two Lady Rams. Two Lady Rams, the story was published in Man Whose Name Did Not Appear in the Census and Other Stories. Two Lady Rams is a story with the very wonderful title. Ram in English means male sheep. But here it is not about sheep but about two women married to Lord Jhindaram. His wife is called Lady Ram as the male person is called Lala Jhindar Lord Ram. It is another humorous story about how rich Indian married woman gets into a strange and awkward situation. Both Lady Rams are beautiful, but there is a difference of age. However, Two Lady Rams of the title refers to the two wives of Lala Jhindaram. The story becomes a commentary on the condition of women and the then society, and also the dowry system which was prevalent that time. To say something about the story, Mulk Raj Anand's Two Lady Rams is the short story about Lala Jhindaram and his two wives Sukhi and Shakuntala. The conflict in the story rises as Jhindaram receives the title of knighthood, and shortly afterward a letter is delivered which is addressed to him and Lady Ram. The insistence of both spouses on being called Lady Ram and his difficulty in choosing only one of them as Lady Ram becomes the primary concern of the story. Mulk Raj Anand is known for his realistic portrayals of the social and economic problems suffered by Indians because of the caste system and British colonial rule. Anand is considered by many critics to be one of India's best writers in this story Two Lady Rams, in which Anand presents witty narrative and the household of Lala Jhindaram, which is at a constant state of cold war between the two ladies of the house, Sukhi, the elder wife, and Shakuntala, the younger. Mulk Raj Anand was born on 12th December 1905 and he died on 28th September 2004, was an Indian English writer notable for his depiction of the lives of the poorer castes in traditional Indian society. One of the pioneers of Indo-Anglian fiction, he, together with R.K. Narayan, Ahmed Ali and Raja Rao, was one of the first India-based writers in English to gain an international readership. Anand is admired for his novels and short stories, which have acquired the status of classics of modern Indian English literature. They are noted for their perceptive insight into the lives of the oppressed and for their analysis of impoverishment, exploitation and misfortune. He became known for his protest novel Untouchable, followed by other works on the Indian poor such as Coolie, which was published in 1936, and the novel Untouchable was published in 1935, and Two Leaves and a Bud, it was published in 1937. He is also noted for being among the first writers to incorporate Punjabi and Hindustani idioms into English and was a recipient of the civilian honor of the Padma Bhushan. However, Anand's story Two Lady Rams have mainly three central characters. Number one is Lala Jhindaram. Jhindaram was the husband of Two Lady Rams. He was a contractor by profession. He is 5 feet tall and an obese man. He was the master of the house and an authoritative figure. His relation with his servants is typical to that of master servant. When his driver proposed him the solution to his dilemma, he could not openly appreciate him and instead he warned him not to intervene in his family matter. Number 2 character is Sukhi. She is a 50-year-old woman. Sukhi is the former wife of Lala Zindaram. She is the less favored between the two Lady Rams. The possible reasons are: first, she is barren, and second, she is old. When the news Zindaram had only asked Shakuntala to accompany him to the garden party travelled through the servants to the ear of Sukhi, an apprehension in Sukhi grew that if she was not allowed from being called Lady Zindaram, then she would lose all the prestige that belonged to her as a mater familias, and everyone in the house would look down on her. Therefore, Sukhi's protest implied her assertion of her authority. And the number 3 character is Shakuntala. Shakuntala was the second wife of Lala Zindaram. In comparison to first Lady Ram, means in comparison to Sukhi, Shakuntala was younger, a 25-year-old woman. Though there was a fight between the two Lady Rams, Shakuntala regarded Sukhi as a mother-in-law to some extent and has been fairly respectful to her. Now friends, let us know the summary of the story. Actually, the story begins with the news of the title of knighthood to be conferred to Lala Zindaram. The short story Two Lady Rams begins with the news that Lala Zindaram was conferred the title of knighthood due to his sundry services to the British Empire. However, this good news was soon going to create a problem in his domestic life. The problem was associated with Zindaram's two wives, Sukhi, the first wife, and Shakuntala, the second wife. Both spouses insisted on being called Lady Ram. Zindaram initially managed to cope with such complicated issues by paying no heed to it. Zindaram, as usual, was not concerned about the Cold War between two Lady Rams, and instead he was quite busy in receiving and answering the inundation of congratulatory messages. He was on cloud 9. It was quite unbelievable for him that a man whose father was a small shopkeeper had suddenly been risen to such an exalted position in life and became equivalent to that of any sahib. Then a problem came to his life, and there was the war between two Lady Rams. The fight between two Lady Rams started since Zindaram married his second wife, Shakuntala. With the arrival of 25-year-old Shakuntala, 50-year-old Sukhi was expelled from the primary position in the house. To avoid their 7 years enmity, Zindaram decided to separate his house in two different parts to both of them. But the invitation card from the government house twisted the situation. In order to facilitate all those dignitaries who had been granted titles, medals and scrolls of honor, a garden party was organized at the residence of His Excellency the Governor, and it was to be held the next day. An invitation card was delivered to Zindaram, and it was addressed to him and Lady Ram. And there was the problem: whom would he choose as Lady Ram and go with him to the garden party? And thereon heralded the conflict. Zindaram at first asked his younger wife Shakuntala to buy a new sari and get ready for the occasion. When the news travelled through the servants to Sukhi's ear, it made her feel subordinate and powerless. So, in order to stop that from happening, Sukhi early in the morning stepped into the room where Sir Zindaram and Lady Shakuntala had been sleeping. She started to pour her anger to her young rival. Eater of her masters, this is the last humiliation which you had to cast on me, she added. But quote unquote, I will pull every hair off your head and blacken your face. On hearing this abusive language, they got out of bed, and Sir Zinda, disapproving, rubbing his eyes, said, quote unquote, go to your rooms. I will stay here if I like. Adamant Sukhi protested loudly. To control unstoppable Sukhi and her continuous flow of abuse, Sir Zinda finally exerted his authority in the house by taking Sukhi by the hair to her part of the house. Sukhi proved to be stubborn and resisted like a tiger and created a hue and cry at the house. So Sir Zindaram became disturbed. Disturbed by her act, Sir Zinda first telephoned the ADC for an appointment, but the ADC was busy with preparation for the party and avoided him, presuming that Sir Zinda had some usual deal or contract. After the rejection, he thought of visiting the governor of the province. At the gates of governor's house, the Sipahi said that Lat Sahib was at tiffin and there were strict orders that no one should disturb his siesta or rest. Sir Zinda was humiliated before his driver and turned homewards. On the way of home, he started to figure out some solution to the ongoing problem. He knew certain things for sure. First, that Sukhi would never let him live in peace for life if she was not called Lady Ram and taken to the garden party. Second, Shakuntala would never let him come near her if he took back his word. And third, he could contact neither the governor nor ADC, and it was of no use seeking the advice of any of the gentry in the town because they would make fun out of his problem rather than solving it. Now the solution which came to him. When he reached his bungalow, then the chauffeur asked to make a humble suggestion. He permitted him to speak. Then the driver suggested him to take both his wives to the party. Though Ram dismissed the driver's simple idea by admonishing him to quote-unquote mind your own business, but he believed that it could be a simple solution to that complicated problem. The only difficulty was the invitation card, which was addressed only to Sir Zinda and Lady Ram, not to the two Lady Rams. Therefore, he altered the words to the two Lady Rams, quote-unquote. Afterward, he ordered the chauffeur to tell both spouses to get ready for the garden party. The driver told each of them separately that only one of the two Lady Rams was going to the garden party. And lastly, at the garden party, when both wives discovered that they had been tricked, the clever driver took charge of them and Sir Zinda pushed them into the car and they moved towards government house. Luckily, there no unpleasant thing happened. In fact, Her Excellency complimented the two Lady Rams on their wonderful studies, and His Excellency bestowed the title of Knight to Sir Zindaram. Since that day, Sir Zinda and the two Lady Rams had become an integral part of all ceremonial occasions in the capital. Now we will discuss the significance of the title Two Lady Rams. In the story Two Lady Rams were Sukhi and Shakuntala, the two wives of Sir Lala Zindaram. They were called Two Lady Rams because they were the wives. The two Lady Rams had been engaged in a constant cold war for many years. Both longed for the attention of their mutual husband and wanted to be addressed as Lady Ram. Such rivalry between them was a common scene in Zindaram's domestic life. Their husband at the beginning easily coped with this cold war, but as the news of the award came to him, he simply ignored them. However, the problem arose when the invitation card for the garden party was addressed only to Sir Zinda and Lady Ram. However, both the wives tried their best to be called Lady Ram. Through this witty story, Mulkraj Anand has pointed subtly on the social condition of that time. For instance, the British still allowed the Mitaksar law. According to Mitaksar law, son had the birthright in property for the heir, and daughters had no right. So the sons could only claim their property of the fathers. This British law also allowed men to practice polygamy, but there was no rule whether all or any of those wives of a man could hold the title of lady in case the husband was suddenly ascended to a knighthood or viscountcy or earldom, dukedom or any high rank. The colonial administration had not paid any concern to the women in the society. This suggested the position of the woman at that time was negligible. Moreover, addressing a wife by her husband's title was another instance of subordination. The very title indicates the condition of women in the then society. However, it was the driver of Zindaram who proposed the idea of taking both the ladyrams to the garden party, and ultimately there was no problem because he changed the invitation card from to ladyram to quote unquote the two ladyrams. His alteration of the words from ladyrams to two ladyrams was not his first experience of modification, as he had altered many more intricate documents in the past. This suggested his cunning nature. Later, when they reached the government house, nothing unpleasant happened. In fact, two ladyrams were praised by Her Excellency for their wonderful sarees, and Sir Zindaram was bestowed the star of the Knight Commander of the Indian Empire by His Excellency. From that day onwards, Sir Zinda and his two ladyrams became an integral part of all ceremonial occasions, Empire Day, cricket match or horse race in the capital, since those were incomplete without them. So, as the whole story revolves around the two ladies, two wives, their conflict and the ultimate solution, the title Two Ladyrams is absolutely just and perfect. There are some aspects of the story also. In this story, Mulkraj Anand has presented the condition of women. Though it seemed two ladyrams enjoyed an equal status, but it was Sukhi who was discriminated among them. Her worth as a human being was determined on the basis of her ability to procreate. As it was discovered that she was barren, her worth began to lessen in front of her husband's eyes, and he married another wife. She later had considered her husband's second marriage was only for the continuation of the race. Even the background of Shakuntala also raised some questions. Shakuntala had married Zindaram, who was much elder than her, since Sukhi was double her age. Moreover, he was already a married man. She could have rejected him. From a statement of Sukhi, it was clear that Shakuntala did not bring anything from her home in the name of dowry, whereas Sukhi brought ₹1,00,000 from her maternal home. Therefore, the probable reason for marrying an old married man was a compulsion. For her, marrying a rich man could be an avenue to climb on the social ladder and to avoid the dowry. So, the second aspect of the story, which comes as the central theme of the story, is the dowry system. The story also focuses side by side with the condition of women, dowry system. The dowry system was prevalent at that time. It was evident in the story. During the protest of Sukhi, Sukhi claimed to her husband, quote unquote, "You've had nothing before I brought ₹1,00,000 in my dowry." What did this bitch bring with her? Nothing but a fair complexion and a snub nose. So, dowry was one of the most important factors in the then society to gain importance and prominence as a wife. When His Majesty the King Emperor, or whichever government department it was that acted on His Majesty's behalf, conferred the title of knighthood on Lala Zindaram in recognition of his sundry services to the British Empire, His Majesty's government did not realize the awful domestic predicament into which they would put him. So it was the problem faced by Lala Zindaram when they announced that the title of knighthood would be conferred to him. Of course, there is no way in which His Majesty the King Emperor, sitting 7,000 miles away from India, can ever get to know anything about the private lives of his subjects. So the king of emperor, who is residing in London or England, 7,000 miles away from India, could not think of the problems which has been aroused in the house of his subjects Lala Jhindaram and the family. And the department acting in his name, which draws up the birthday or New Year's honors list, though it is possessed of fairly well documented confidential dossiers about the temperament, religious, political and social opinion of almost all notable persons as well as notariates, and particularly about the services rendered to the Sarkar by them, is singularly inept and formal about the human details of their lives. In the circumstances, the crisis which the honor of knighthood precipitated in Lala Jhindaram's house was an inevitable as a sudden blow from destiny, and brought more sorrow in its train than the joy which such a rise to eminence and respectability brings with it. So the title of knighthood did not only bring joy, but it also inevitably brought sorrow or pain along with it. For Jhindaram had two wives, and naturally both of them insisted on being called Lady Ram. None of Jhindaram's wives, Sukhi or Shakuntala, did not want to avoid their title Lady Ram. Of course, Lala Jhindaram was fairly well able to cope with this crisis in the early stages, as he merely ignored the tension between his wives, which began to manifest itself in long sulks and occasional snatches of unmentionable dialogue after the news of the award came through. So in the very early stage, Lala Jhindaram tried to avoid this Cold War only by ignoring it. Jhindaram was too busy receiving and answering the numerous congratulations which were arriving, and in his furtive colloquies with that part of himself which did not really believe that he, Jhindaram, contractor, whose father was a small shopkeeper, had suddenly been lifted from his 5'5" of corpulence to an exalted height equal to that of 6'6" Sahib. So it was a kind of glorious achievement, Jhindaram thinks, on his part to acquire the title of knighthood, because he was short and a native Indian, but he was exalted and elevated to the height of the Sahib as if. Apart from the vertical advantages which he had attained, there was the pleasurable feeling of the extension of this personality in girth on the horizontal plane, as it were, through the aura of glory that already radiated from him as he contemplated himself and smiled at the full-length mirror in stolen sidelong glances when none of his servants were looking. So this line also suggests Lala Jhindaram maintained a distance from his servants, as his wives had been wrangling for the last 7 years. That is to say, ever since the young 25-year-old Shakuntala came, Shakuntala, the second wife, who is 25-year-old, and the first wife, Sukhi, is double her age, ousted the 50-year-old Sukhi. He regarded their renewed bitterness as only another phase of the quarrel which he had dodged by segregating them in two different parts of the house. So he avoided the quarrel only by separating them in two different parts of the house. So friends, in this section we get the quarrel between the two wives or two Lady Rams, Shakuntala and Sukhi, which lasted for 7 years when Shakuntala came to the house as the new wife, and this old quarrel is renewed again when the title of knighthood was conferred to Lala Jhindaram, is going to be conferred to Lala Jhindaram, and his wife would be called Lady Ram. None of the wives actually want to avoid the title Lady Ram. Thank you friends for watching this video. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe, share, like and give your opinion in the comment box. Thank you again.